Val's here again with another song review, and today the song is One Bread, One Body. What I can say in common, I like this song. It's a nice song. Now, as many songs, I see the a little unbalance between chorus and verse in terms of length, so amount of measures. So the verse is basically twice shorter than the refrain, or refrain is twice longer than the verse. Since it's quite a short song, it has only 3 verses. Of course I changed some things, I can't live without that. And I'm gonna share with you what I changed. Now let's start with intro. Well, normally there's no intro written in for this. I use for the intro the last 4 bars of the refrain, starting on upbeat, starting from the word "we are one body in this one Lord, amen." So the one thing I changed though, so I don't play exactly the way it goes here. And that's what I changed here. So the last chord of the refrain leads you to actually to the verse. So, and it is D with the F sharp in the bass, which is a dominant in G major, but it's the way it's written here, it leads you to the verse. So that moving bass from G, F to E minor. Since I'm using this for the intro, I don't play that last chord right here because it's not gonna work with that G, since the song is actually starts with the refrain. So we have G in refrain, so that chord it's not gonna work. Plus we have another chord that works with that G for the beginning of the refrain. So that's what I do. I'm gonna play it once for you. Yeah, and I do sometimes this sort of a little tenuto for the beginning of the refrain, just the way I did. Now, speaking of harmony, speaking of the chords, the harmonization, as I said before, I don't play exactly what's written here for accompaniment. I'm playing off this chord chart, and here I did some things, and some things I don't like. Let's say in a third, well, in a third measure, this G major 7th, I wouldn't recommend to play that chord on the first beat, because the way the melody goes, we have G in a melody, and measure 7 is supposed to be F sharp. Well, you do the math. So that's what, and yeah, when you sing that, it sounds a little harsh. So G major 7, I play this F sharp as a passing tone to the next chord. Something like that. stop after G pass, after even D, like this maybe. Now another thing, as I also mentioned before, I like the passing basses. Like here, so we have just B, but I play B7th with D sharp in the bass, and that's a smooth return back to E minor. Then another similar place, like here in this measure. By the way, they're missing a chord. This is definitely D7th right here, and it's you know, they don't have it here. We have A in the melody, C natural in the descant, D right here, F sharp in the bass. That's definitely D7th, even D9th. So we need a chord here, definitely. Then another chord right here. This is not really an ordinary E minor here on the 4th beat. Plus, you know, if you move really, you know, if you look kind of like on all this phrase, this last 4 measures of the refrain. So it's definitely G major with D in the bass. I play it like this. I like to play it. I don't play this B, because that's, you know, the moving bass. So I add up a few chords and see, they even made a mistake here. There's A and with the C sharp. Well, it's not really a big mistake, but you know, I would put C sharp, A with C sharp in the bass, and then A 7th or 9, passing G, Z with F sharp, and then D7th or D9th at the end of this first part of the refrain. Well, same thing, G major 7th, don't like it. Now, speaking of the verse, I don't really change anything harmonization wise. Well, you know, I could possibly create some another, just like a totally different harmonization, just for variety, like for the second verse, but I don't really do it. Now, what I add a little here, I add some fill-ups here. So look, we have a holding whole measure, same, you know, there's nothing is going on, just, you know, the choir, they cannot hold that note, plus 2 beats in the next measure, nothing. So, sort of like, you know, I'm playing with the material here, like this. So all of this empty things I fill up with some interesting music. Now, I add one thing here to this F. It's not just I'm playing, let's say, somewhere on the 3rd beat, or even straight here as a major 7th. Now, the last 2 measures of the verse, we have a suggestion here of playing bass, that A. I avoiding doing that, so I keep this D through all these, through both of these measures, so creating sort of this ostinato D. And plus, you can, it's again, the melodies, there's nothing is going on, they're just holding this long note for two measures. Plus, you can add up more than just this D and then C over D bass. It could be, chords can be changed like every beat of the measure, like this. But all what I do to keep the dominant tone here, just holding D. And back to refrain. Another thing, just sort of someone interesting thing, someone extra color I do when before the last refrain, so after the third verse, going to the refrain, I don't play that chord at all. So I'm actually giving a quarter rest here. So I'm taking that off on the third beat, and I let the choir or the cantor with congregation to sing that G a cappella. So it's a really cool thing. Then the last refrain is the final. It goes on fortissimo, and if it for the communion or offertory, maybe you don't need to go that loud. Maybe forte is enough. And I don't remember if I play the final ending, but I definitely do the ritardando here for the last. Come on. This song could sound good for opening for a sessional communion offertory for basically any spot. So that's it for now about One Bread, One Body. Great song. Stay in touch. God bless.